Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA, Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busywork. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
It was the Roman poet Virgil who said, "Easy is the descent to hell. All night long, all day, the doors of dark Hades stand open. But to retrace the path, to come out again to the sweet air of heaven, there is the task, there is the burden. If I cannot move heaven, I will raise hell." We'll talk about that later, but now it's time for Rick Tittle and titillating sports on Sports Byline USA. All right, hey, thank you so much. A Taco Tuesday, Terrible Tantrum Tuesday, whatever alliteration you want, double shots of Judas Priest and UFO. Come on in and get heard. I remember my cousin in Reno was really into UFO, and I was like, I don't really know them. But then again, you never know some of these more provincial places. I remember when I visited Idaho in 1983, And they're like, we like Van Halen, yeah. And we like Led Zeppelin, yeah. And April Wine, what? Yeah, you know April Wine. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Turns out it was a Canadian band. Hey, I'm here for you. Come on in and get heard. 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. Wherever you might happen to be listening, it's great to have you with us. Personally embarking on a 7-hour day on the air today, and tomorrow I'll be on KMBR with Derek Papa from 2 to 6 p.m. So if you're in Northern California or even Oregon, that 50,000-watt blowtorch goes a long way. That's 680 a.m. and 104.5 FM, but that's not till later. All that matters is this show and this network. We're going to got 3 hours. Julia Rowe, lovely and talented ballerina from SF Ballet, will join me in about 15 minutes. Karen Lyle at 9:40 for SalesPortTalk.com, as we do on Tuesdays at that same time. Erik Vickrey wrote a book about the Dodgers. We have filmmaker Scout Taylor-Compton. And also in the second hour, we have a book about the Yankees from Tony Castro as well. So we'll get in some sports authors and authors. 1-800-878-PLAY is the number to call. 1-800-878-7529. And I'm on Twitch and YouTube. Come on back.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with SportsBettingClaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
Wendy's has a new Girl Scout Thin Mints Frosty Fusion with Girl Scout Thin Mints cookie pieces, rich creamy frosty, and a mint chocolate cookie sauce. Which means Girl Scout Thin Mints and Wendy's Frosty, yeah, they're basically best friends now. It's like two delicious desserts just high-fived, snapped a few too many friendship selfies, and then rode a tandem bike down a never-ending road of mint chocolate frosty perfection. So, swing by Wendy's and try the new Thin Mints Frosty Fusion.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome. He's a genius.
You're now listening to the Rick Tittle Show. Good for you.
Hey, thank you for being with us and starting off with some open lines to have you with us. And if you're listening on the very narrow view on YouTube, thank you for that. And if you're watching on Twitch, then you see that I'm stage right. Hey, it is working, right? I'm trying to get this camera just right here, live radio. All right, well, now that the Olympics are over and people are cycling back, and I'm going to head down to the Sharks game on Thursday. That's their first game back against Calgary. And the silver medalist, Macklin Celebrina. If any team was ever more disgusted by a silver medal, it was the Canadian men's team at the Olympics. That is the biggest silver turd they've ever seen, much less put around their neck. And I'm sure a lot of them probably tossed it as well. But now we can get back into the BS politics of everything. And, oh, what protest did Alyssa Liu go to? And the United States women's hockey team is not going to the State of the Union tonight, but the men's hockey team, a lot of them are. There is one thing, and I remember, and just by the way, as an aside, and you probably don't care, and you really shouldn't care what I think politically, but I hate both extremes, which seems to be all the clickbait. I think most Americans just care about how much gas and milk could give a crap what tie you wear. But on social media and the news cycle and all the networks, it's like this almost life or death thing about who do you support and who do you vote for. You're a piece of crap. You're an idiot. You're a Nazi. You're a communist, whatever it is, right? And it's just so tiresome. It's exhausting. And so the women's team says no thanks. The men's team says yes. And so now we get into the nuances of, oh, now we can root for them or we can't root for them. It's so stupid. And I remember Dana Gould, who I respect very much, who, by the way, is in the Mel Brooks, Judd Apatow documentary on HBO Max. I remember in here he said, because he's super liberal, and he said we went too hard on the pronouns and cancel culture, and that's the thing too. It's like, you know, Alyssa Liu actually had a lot of super conservative people applauding her. You know, she stood for the anthem with her hand over her heart, and her father immigrated legally and all this stuff. But if Alyssa Liu would have had a MAGA hat, she would have been despised by the left. It wouldn't have been, thank you for representing our country so well. Oh, you're a MAGA? Never mind, I hate you. You're a scumbag. How stupid is that? But anyway, as I think it's sort of like the two things that make no sense to me is comedians, as liberal as they might be, they actually like conservative crowds because they laugh at everything, and the liberal crowds have rules. And then if you had told me before the pandemic which group will refuse to wear masks and get vaccinated, and I said, well, obviously the liberals, the Republicans will do what they're told. And it was the exact opposite of that. So I have no idea what's going on right now. But I bring it up because the United States men's hockey team is excited to attend the State of the Union. And the Hughes brothers will be there. And Jack Hughes said, we're so proud to represent the U.S., and when you get the chance to go to the White House and meet the president, we're proud to be Americans, so that's patriotic. No matter what your views are, we're super excited to go to the White House tomorrow and be a part of that. And I remember in the early days of Icicle, there was a political show we did, and the guy that was doing despised Bush so much, he said if the president was going to give him the Medal of Freedom, he would decline it. And I said, you know, I didn't vote for Bill Clinton. I didn't really care for him. I didn't like him, but if he asked me to come, I would take it. Now, things were not, I thought things were fractious back then. There was nothing back then. compared to how it is now. But the other thing you got to remember before you either vilify or canonize athletes is that, like most of us, politics does not rule their lives. They don't define themselves by what they're tweeting or what they're protesting or what they're not protesting or what halftime show they want to watch or whether they want to build a wall or not. They're removed from most of that. As am I. I hate hard news. I've always hated hard news. It's just so, I want to know what's going on, but I'm not going to sit through a newscast. It's shock value. And I studied broadcast news in college. And I've been in broadcast news stations, and whatever's the most shocking is going to be the thing that they're going to show. It's about ratings. This isn't some altruistic thing where they're just trying to give you the middle ground and let you make a critical decision and take in all the information. No, they'll just tell you what it is, and it's worse than ever. You actually can get news from a conservative channel or a liberal channel. And when I do want to look at any news story, I go to Sky or BBC. Isn't that a shame? I don't go to CNN. I don't go to Fox News. Are you kidding me? I don't go to any of that stuff because I know there's going to be a bent on it. And the BBC, if you've spent any time in England, I've spent a lot of time in England, the news is on nonstop. It's on nonstop. But they try, and they're still trying to make money. I'm not trying to act like there's some kind of church. But they try to give you all the information and let you do some critical thinking and then make up your own opinion in your own mind and try to see both sides of things. And so I just bring it up because I'm sure people will be like, oh, I was celebrating and now Jack Hughes is in there with Trump. Screw him. Because now, by going, they're automatically anti-immigration, anti-trans, just whatever Trump is against. Now it's Trump's boy. It just can't be the president invited you and so you're going. No, it has to mean that you not only voted for him, but you believe in everything he does. And then if you decline going, that means you hate him and you disagree with everything he does. I guarantee you there were at least a couple of women on that hockey team that would have thought, well, that actually sounds pretty cool to go to the White House and Capitol Hill and just kind of stand on the periphery and see this stuff that very few Americans get the opportunity to. I know someone who was with the Giants, and when Obama was president after they won the World Series, and Obama just happened to be walking by and he held out his hand. He said, Mr. President, and Obama grabbed his hand and shook it and said, hey, how's it going? And then kept going down the aisle. I never had that opportunity to shake the hand of the President of the United States. But as I said, it's so much different now. And so I don't think that Quinn and Jack Hughes are really interested in tariffs or anything else. They're just Americans. They won a gold medal. And the president said, hey, come on by. And they're like, and you might say, well, that's ignorance. Well, ignorance is bliss sometimes. It really is. And I think it'll be a nice occasion for them. And if the women don't want to go, I support them too, like when the Warriors didn't want to go. The fact of the matter is, I don't care either way. I don't hate or love them either way. All right, you know who I love? I love great ballet folks, ballerinas. What's a ballerino? Whatever. We got a good one coming up next from the SF Ballet, Julia Rowe. So come on back.
Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647. Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
I'm not insightful enough to be a movie critic. Maybe I could be a food critic. These muffins taste bad. Or an art critic. That painting is bad.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast, syndicated out of downtown San Francisco, around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. Always love going over to the War Memorial Opera House down at Civic Center to see the San Francisco Ballet, world class with amazing musicians and dancers and choreographers from around the world, and we're quite lucky to have one of them right now. It is ballerina Julia Rowe, the lovely and talented member of the San Francisco Ballet, and she is here to talk about coming up this weekend and going through March 8th. The ballet will be having their debut of William Forsythe's The Blake Works. This will be 2 ballet premieres plus a newly commissioned curtain drop designed by William Forsythe and set to the music of Grammy Award-winning recording artist James Blake. Julia, welcome to the show, and as amazing as it is to do some of the classic ballets, how fun is it that the San Francisco Ballet will go in some of these new and innovative directions like this?
Hi, thank you for having me. It's absolutely wonderful to be able to work with contemporary, modern-day living choreographers on works that speak to audiences today. It's been great to explore classical technique through a new lens and see what dancers in the 21st century can come up with and how we can move in a way that resonates with audiences today.
You know, I remember in art history looking at Gauguin, and he was fascinated with ballerinas, and he would paint them, and he felt sorry for them because their toes were all completely mangled, and that doesn't happen nowadays. I'm not saying it's easy for you guys, but you have normal-looking feet. What is, if you don't mind me asking, what are the changes, whereas that you guys don't destroy your feet like the old days?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that we don't destroy our feet, but we know so much more about medicine and about anatomy and the human body, and we understand how to get the best out of athletes. And we are athletes. We're also artists. But I think in the 21st century, we understand how to train to maximize our abilities, and so the materials, for example, that we use in pointe shoes are significantly more durable than they were, say, at least 50 years ago. Things like pointe technique has gotten more advanced, especially in the past, I would say, 20 years. There are a lot of ways that modern technology has helped us to have longer, better careers.
Well, I would think, because whenever I go, and still my highlight was last year at Swan Lake. I mean, there were at least 10 times I wanted to give a standing ovation. I can't, and I know it's repetition like any dancing, and I just think about the punishment that you guys and gals go through, and how many times maybe you're dropped on the hardwood, and I can understand a dance routine that's 5 minutes long, but just 90 minutes of everyone being just flawless. You knock on wood, never see anybody misstep. What about that? And maybe punishment is the wrong word because you're doing what you love, but what about that grind and that hard work to be a world-class ballet like that?
Well, I would say it's like being an elite athlete or being at the top of any field. It really comes down to practice and dedication and an ability to think creatively and find ways to push the art form forward. And that's actually what I think William Forsythe is doing in the Blake Works, which is why it's so exciting to present that.
Yeah, I was reading, it says that Forsythe's choreography is, quote, at once precise and fluid, pushing classical technique into new terrain. So maybe getting out of your comfort zone is fun, but maybe a little bit of trepidation, like I've never done this before too, right?
Absolutely, and that's why it's so thrilling. To be able to work with a choreographer in person is special for us. And then also to have someone who is quite well known, quite famous in our field, come and work with us and be able to give us direct feedback, personalized feedback, is amazing. And so he's able to guide us through this process of growing as artists in real time. And it's amazing to see not only for myself, but for my colleagues, how that looks day to day. And so every day it's exciting, and we're we're going into uncharted waters, which is thrilling, and like you said, also a little bit scary, which I'm sure will add to the quality of the performance.
I remember I went to a premiere last year, and off to the side there's a little room for VIPs, media. Thank you, Skylar. There's a little bit of wine. You can have some cheese, whatever, and kind of hang out and be away from everybody else for a minute. But I remember speaking to a woman who struck up a conversation with me, and I remember the look in her eyes when she said, ballet is my passion. It is my passion. I could never do it, but I live for this. So it's like me. I can't hit a grand slam, but I'll pay to watch somebody else do it. When you get that feedback from people and how you make them feel, and the unspoken word, what you can do with your body and to inspire people, what's that like when they give you that type of feedback?
I mean, that's a big part of why I do what I do. Art is about sharing and about communication, and I mean, I love dancing, but it's not the same dancing by myself in my living room. I really feel like the audience is an active participant in the art form. So to be able to receive that kind of feedback and to hear that my passion is infectious, it's really validating, and it's really that's why I do what I do.
So one more question for you. Most little kids go to Little League or play soccer. I know a lot of little girls and some boys go to ballet as well. When did you know, and you might be modest about this, but when did you know that you weren't just good, but you were world class at ballet?
I don't know if I know that still.
Come on.
If I had to pick a time, I think when I started training seriously, so around 7 or 8 years old, which might seem young to most people, but in a career where you don't go too far into your 40s, you have to make the decision to train seriously pretty young. So I think I was about 7 or 8, and I remember being I had a terrible day at school, as one does in first grade, and then I went into the ballet studio and I touched the bar, and we go through this series of movements every day, and I remember feeling every single ounce of stress just leave my body. And I was like, this is what I'm meant to do.
That's really cool. Everyone, check out sfballet.org for the Blake Works. Only 4 shows. It'll be Friday at 7:05, Sunday at 1:05, and then Friday, March 6th at 7:05, and Sunday, March 8th at 1:05. That's the other thing, Julia, is this isn't some extended Broadway run for 8 months. You guys switch around so fast. I mean, it's you train forever, and then boom, it's done. On to the next thing. You guys are real warriors, aren't you?
We do our best.
All right. Looking forward to seeing you there. Julia Rowe, thank you so much. It was our pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
All right. sfballet.org once again for the tickets. And honestly, if you asked me if I was a ballet guy, and I wouldn't say I'm it's my passion, but over the last few years, once I started interviewing choreographers and musicians and ballerinas. I had a friend who was the violist. I think she might still be there, an old friend. But once you go, and look, they're not all spectacular. They're good. They have good parts, But like I said, that Swan Lake one, if you saw that one, that really blew you away. But it's just amazing what these men and women can do. And once again, to memorize everything that's going on, and that it's not music to a beat, because you kind of feel like, oh, I can get into it. No, you have to know everything by rote. It was good stuff. Julia Rowe, sfballet.org, The Blake Works. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We'll come on back on the other side with Karen Lyle.
The second I see that Chick-fil-A text in the group chat, I'm throwing my shoes on and running out the door. Hey, I'm Layla. And I'm Kaylin. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is how it feels like an easygoing morning. The chicken adds the most flavor. It's juicy and seasoned. The biscuit is just very light and airy and fluffy, just like a cloud. I also love to put jelly on mine so it's sweet and savory. It's a good start to the day.
Mornings are a little bit brighter with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit and Simply Orange Juice. Available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network, twitch.tv, streaming on YouTube as well. And you hear that music from Crisscross Applesauce. It's 9:40 on a Tuesday. That's when we check in with our friends at salesportstalk.com. Once again, salesportstalk.com. And to co-host this segment with me, as she usually does, it is Karen Lyle, who is back from England. Karen, you're getting those frequent flyer miles going, ain't you?
Yep, and I'm going back in about another week. I have to tell you something funny, though, Rick. So usually when I'm coming into the segment, I'm not listening to the segment before because I'm preparing for whatever we're going to talk about. My friend, Jonah Kim, who happens to be the husband of Julia Rowe that you just interviewed,
no way.
and I were... Yeah, right. So we're on text each other, and he's texting me and saying, "Hey, my sister's in town. Do you want to get together with me and Julie and stuff like that?" And I said, "Yeah, but I've got my show coming on in 5 minutes, and I'm gonna, my South Sport talk." He said, "Oh, well, Julia's on Sports Byline right now." And I said, "You mean talking to Rick?" And he says, I guess. And so I tune in and listen to it, and I hear you in the tail end of you and Julia's conversation. I just go, "Oh my gosh, this is such a small world."
That's a crazy small world, yeah. All right, so you, in England, I didn't realize that the Sail GP headquarters are in London, and you took a butcher's, as they said, didn't you?
Well, I know people there because I've been around the race for a little while, and you get friendships and so forth. And so one of my friends there in SailGP infrastructure, and Tom, invited me to come over to see the headquarters there. And actually, he'd invited me, maybe about 6 months ago, and it was actually at another location, which was over close by the E1 series races and the Formula E series, which is in another building, maybe about a couple stops along the tube away. But they have now a new space, and it's a new building, and it's really sweet. It's very modern. It's got the blue neon lights. You walk in, you see this whole sea of people who are working it, and it's 2 or 3 stories of the building, and they've got a nice view over it, so forth. So it's really set up nicely, and it's nice to see how developed SailGP has come since that first time when I became familiar with it and everyone was coming together in 2019. That was April. That was 2 weeks after we started. And I guess the first SailGP race in San Francisco was 2 weeks after we started Salesport Talk. And we had Tom Slingsby on, and Rome Kirby and Matt Ignacy, as you recall.
Yes, and I would also imagine, too, that when you're going around, what are you sort of taking in that, because you are the aficionado, like what are some of the things where, for those of us who didn't get to go, where you were like, oh, look at this, or look at that?
Well, I'm always interested in how things work, and not just about, and just like you are. I mean, you have all this interior knowledge of how the teams that are your favorites and that you follow, are, how the sausage is made, right? How is the team bought and sold? How does how do the players come up? How is the training? How does all that work together? And so that's really, one of the things that fascinates me, because I feel like that, I've watched the birth of an institution, right? Because this SailGP, when it first started, I was at the dock with my boat in 2019 for a week, and I was seeing all these team members coming from around Europe who had never met each other before. And they had invited all of the media, and they had a media boat to come out and see the races, and they were introducing the race to San Francisco for the first time. And to see that start, and now where they are today, I mean, you would have thought that they'd been around for like 100 years. I mean, they're so well established and solid in their structure and organization, the way things work. So, kudos to them for developing into such an awesome sport.
Well, as I found when I went with Patty Mangan a couple years ago over to the SailGP event, and seeing how international it was, and meeting people from Spain and Argentina and Germany and France, and the television coverage was outstanding, because it's not like a sprint around a track where you can tell, or a horse race where you can tell who's winning a lot of the times. And so I give kudos to the sport for making it user-friendly, and for realizing that not everybody has a yacht and knows what's going on. I think that's something that they've done. It's very wise.
Well, and that actually, the technology of how they, because basically describing for our listeners who haven't seen a SailGP race yet, of course they're going to hop on YouTube right after we're finished, or SailGP.com and check it out, I'm sure. But, they basically overlay a field, on the water through an app or through the television performance, and they have cameras on all the different boats from different positions, different vantage points on the boat. And it's interesting that whole thing is run from London. So the offices that I went to were not that part of it. I'm going to be actually going back during one of the races that is coming up this year. I've been invited to come in and witness how they run that whole mechanism of how the race is seen, where you can tap on on your app and tap on a boat and see what the speed that one, what team that is and what speed it is and what position they are in the race and stuff like that. All that things that that's interactive and makes it really cool, is actually all run from another location in London. And in fact, I didn't actually realize this because, you don't always talk about this to everybody that you know in the SailGP, but I was over at the Royal Thames Yacht Club, and Tim Henley, who's an advisory for the World Sailing for the Olympics, was saying, you should really go check out SailGP. Did you know that they run, all of this equipment? He was telling me about, his knowledge of it. I'm going, oh, well, here's a whole layer that I didn't even think about, but, that we can talk about and go see.
So for you too, as we follow the sport, and I understand there was a crash, and I guess when these cars, I got the Freudian slip, they get up on their foils and they're going with some ridiculous 40, 50 knots, they can crash into each other. Yes, and actually this was a really violent crash that did serious damage to both boats, and it injured two, one of the French racers and one of the New Zealand racers. France was exonerated from any culpability for this. What happened was New Zealand lost control of the boat. It hit the other boat, and boom, really big crash. It just took both boats out of that next race. I think they're one boat is coming out of these two boats, and that's an interesting thing about the way SailGP works. It's different than just about any other sail sport that I'm aware of in the sailing world, in that the boats are all owned by the corporation SailGP. And so when someone comes in to buy a team, they are basically buying the rights to be able to sell sponsorship on the team, the rights to be able to hire the team and run the team and decide how the team is going to go. But the boats and the race belong to SailGP. So if something happens like this where two boats hit each other, or one hits the other and there's damage like that, then they can take parts from one and put it to the other to try and make one team able to race. And, that's kind of, how they approach this problem. And, it's quite, for me, watching it remotely, my first thought was just my heart jumping up into my throat, just thinking, I know Quentin de la Pierre. In fact, you and I interviewed him when I was at their tent in San Francisco, really early on, when the first time he went in to become, the F-50 driver for the France team. And, I'm looking at this and thinking, these are people that I know, that I've talked to, that I've socialized with, and, how are they? How are the boats? I mean, I want to know if everybody's okay. I really, at this point, I don't really care about who wins the race. I care about, the boats being okay and the people being okay. And I know that probably a lot of other fans and people who are not so attached are going to look at it and say, oh, that's really cool. Look at that crash. I'm going, oh, it's a boat. Right. I wanted to throw this at you before we say goodbye. I was looking the other day on Twitter, and I wish I knew the name of the kid. He's very young. It's just from a site called Dudes Posting, but he basically had about a 5-minute video. He's going around the world by himself on a boat about how he sleeps. And so he said, if I'm in a busy place like the English Channel, I'll look out on my horizons. I get about 8 miles. If I don't see anyone, I can set an alarm for 20 minutes. And then I look around and I set it for 20 minutes again. He goes, if I'm in the middle of the ocean, I can set it for about 40 minutes, and maybe I can go below deck. But he said the nightmare scenario is if I'm going 10 knots and a ship that I can't see yet is going 10 knots, he said there's probably about an hour before we hit. But to be safe, I got to wake up every 40 minutes and scan the horizon to make sure. And he said there are also, automatic alarms and stuff, but he doesn't trust them. And so I remember talking with Bruce Schwab when he was doing the Vendée years ago. He's from Marin. But I didn't know that the most you're ever going to get is 40 minutes. What a living hell that must be.
Well, I think it depends upon how far out you are and whether you're in shipping channels or not. I remember when we were talking to Pip hair, that she said that really 2 hours was a better window for her. That, you can start hallucinating and having other, issues that come up when you don't have enough sleep. And so everybody kind of gets their rhythm as to what it is. So it depends upon how far away you are from shipping channels. Some of the racers who do soul circumnavigation really are quite far out, and they're not going to be running into other ships right away. But it's a risk. I don't single hand, which is what they call that. I always sail with someone else, and we do watches.
All right, everybody, for more information, you can go to sailsportstalk.com. We've been speaking with Karen Lyle, who is back stateside once again. Karen, thanks for your time.
Well, it's good talking to you, Rick, and we'll talk soon.
All right, and maybe she'll know some of our next guests as well. We have some authors coming up in the next hour, but come on back. We still got time to close out hour number one.
You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-247-6135. 800-247-6135. That's 800-247-6135.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
People ask me, were you must have been the class clown. And I say, no, I wasn't. But I sat beside the class clown and I studied him.
Give it to the
Rick Tittle once threw a tennis ball at a donkey.
A couple of minutes left in hour number 1 of 3. Boxing, I like way better than mixed martial arts, but the sport is so... What was the name of the guy, Dom? Do you remember? He had an Italian name. He sat down with me at Radio Row, the boxing guy. Maybe it was a Hispanic name, Don Gonzalez, or anyway. We were just talking about how, HBO or ESPN will say, Lopez versus Herrera. And I'm like, I don't know who those are. Well, a lot of people don't, because, first of all, Pacquiao is going to face Ruslan Prododnikov on April 18th, and then Mayweather is going to be boxing against Mike Tyson. So 260 pounds versus 120 pounds on April 25th, and then it was announced today that Mayweather and Pacquiao are going to fight again in Vegas on September 19th at the Sphere. The other day I went over the price for the Sphere snacks, and remember, popcorn was $70. That was the cheapest thing on the snacks menu. Pacquiao and Mayweather are 48 years old. Oof. Now, Mike Tyson is 61. What are we looking at? It's like Ken Seiko versus Danny Bonaducci again. There's just, I always complain that there's no American male tennis star since Andy Roddick. At least one that's, going to threaten to win a Grand Slam. We've had some good women. But when it comes to boxing, forget America. How about anywhere in the world? I mean, we're going to Russia there, Mayweather here, Tyson here, Pacquiao, Philippines, obviously. Is there no one to captivate our imagination? At least not mine. I don't want to watch 48-year-olds and 61-year-olds box. Come on back on Sports Byline.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. The United States men's hockey team won the Olympic gold medal for the first time in 46 years, which of course caused most in the media to do the easy and incorrect thing and invoke the Miracle on Ice team of 1980. Deservedly so, much gets made of that team's shocking upset of the Soviet Union's Red Machine during the 13th Winter Games in Lake Placid. The Soviets had won 4 consecutive Olympic gold medals in the sport and always fared well against professionals from the National Hockey League. So as time ticked off and Al Michaels made his legendary call, it truly was a magical moment in the history of American sport. It wasn't guaranteed that the U.S. would make it out of the elimination round, so if the story had ended there, it still would have been very special. But 2 days later, on February 24th, 1980, the Americans went on to finish their mission and win the gold medal. While it wasn't as notable as downing the Soviets, the United States rallying to upset Finland is just as impressive and important. The way the tournament worked at the time, if the U.S. lost against Finland, the Soviets would have won the gold medal due to point differential. In fact, if the U.S. lost by several goals, they wouldn't have medaled at all. So you can imagine how the team felt being down 2-1 to begin the third period. It took 3 unanswered goals. Phil Vershada to tie it, Rob McClanahan's go-ahead, and Mark Johnson sealing it. All while goaltender Jim Craig stopped all 10 shots he faced that period. the first United States hockey gold medal in 20 years. So while the game against the Soviets was magical, it was the game against Finland that allowed the American story of that Olympics to become legendary. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning.
Forward to the gold medal. This impossible dream comes true!
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Let's be honest. Most businesses don't struggle because demand is low. They struggle because their back end can't handle growth. Leads come in, but follow-up is slow. Calls get missed. Appointments don't get confirmed. And everything lives in different places. So even when marketing works, revenue doesn't scale. That's a systems problem. Create Assistance fixes this by building a done-for-you CRM and automation system that captures every lead, follows up automatically, confirms appointments, and keeps everything organized in one place. And only after that foundation is built, AI voice and chat employees get added on. If your business feels chaotic behind the scenes, it's time to fix the back end. Visit createassistance.ai and book your call today. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. You know, I was talking about how the men's hockey team is going to go to the State of the Union tonight, and the women declined. This is the official statement from the women's team to the president. Due to the timing and previously scheduled academic and professional commitments following the games, the athletes are unable to participate. They were honored to be included and are grateful for the acknowledgement. Now, reading between the lines, it's like pass, but that's a classy way of saying it. It wasn't like we would never go to some Trump thing, we hate you. And look, yeah, that's the other thing too. The men are all in the NHL. They're not in school. They're done. They're millionaires. Well, at least most are millionaires now. But for the women, some of them are still in college. But, you know, look, you're not going to flunk out of college if you go one extra day to the State of the Union. But I do think it's classy, you know, because remember when Trump invited the Warriors and the Warriors said, we decline, and then Trump said, invitation rescinded. Like, well, it's kind of too late. Do you want to go to the prom? You're so beautiful. No thanks. You're fat and ugly, and I would never go with you anyway. Wait, what? I thought you just said I was beautiful. It's like that Gilbert guy in Cleveland. LeBron, here's the open letter. You are our son. We love you. Taking my talents to South Beach. You suck, you piece of garbage. The Cavaliers will win so many more championships before you ever win another one. Meanwhile, he's got, 4 more rings? That's why I never wanted him to go back and win with the Cavs. I didn't think the Cavs deserved it. I didn't think their fans who burned his jersey deserved it. But he went back and got a ring, and I was at that game, and it was horrible for me. All right, we have another hour to go. We've got some baseball books. Yeah, baseball season is right around the corner. Come on back.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
My fellow Americans, let the message ring out that from this day forward, when you buy American, you buy the best. Handcrafted, something premium, something pure. For this is the very essence of what our servicemen and women gave their lives to protect, and by God, we shall not allow their sacrifice to be forgotten. It's time to show the world just how great American can be. And we will not wait for tomorrow to come. We will stand here, this moment, together, and we will start today. Don't ever forget how great it is to be American. America we need right now.
Celebrate responsibly.
Hour 2 of Titillating Sports. You thought it couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Hour 2 of Titillating Sports.
Hey, check out Channel 9. Check out Rick Tittle.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure to welcome to the show author Erik Vickrey. He has a brand new book that is available from August Publications. It's called Before They Wore Dodger Blue, Tommy Lasorda and the Greatest Draft Class in Baseball History. And it's great to have you on the show, Erik. And I think a lot of people don't know that the draft didn't come along until 1965, but the Dodgers were kind of ahead of the game. They kind of knew what they were doing. Tell us a little bit more about how this book all came together, please.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Great to be with you. The Dodgers really, going back to the 1940s, had a very strong system of signing and developing players, going back to guys like Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, in the 50s, Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale. And then, Major League Baseball instituted the draft in 1965, and that really changed how Major League teams acquired players. Suddenly, kind of even playing field, and the Dodgers had to rethink their strategy as far as how they scouted and drafted players. And a few years later, in 1968, they pulled off what is considered the greatest draft class in baseball history, and it really reshaped the franchise.
Well, you look at some of the names: Davey Lopes, Bobby Valentine, Bill Buckner, Steve Garvey, Ron Say, Doyle Alexander, Jeff Zahn, Joe Ferguson, Tom Paciorek. I remember, and I interviewed Tommy in the past, but he was talking about how when he was trying to make the Dodgers, there were 500 guys down in Florida living in Quonset huts like the Army, and there were 12 levels of Dodgers, and it was almost like an impossibility to get to to get to Brooklyn back then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you talking about Tommy Lasorda? He came up they had a really hard time cracking the Dodgers roster in the 1950s. It ended up spending something like 9 seasons in AAA in Montreal, and was a pretty good minor league pitcher, won 100 games, but didn't have much success as a player in the major leagues. Went 0-4 with an ERA over 6, but really found his way first as a scout in the early 1960s, and then in '65 became the Dodgers rookie league manager, and then ended up managing all these guys from the '68 draft in rookie ball, and then again in AAA in 1970. That's kind of what really compelled me to write this book, is that all these players came from the same draft. They came up together under this great personality, Tommy Lasorda, one of the great personalities in the game's history here. I really had a lot of fun really diving into the story and interviewing a lot of the players involved.
Lasorda always said, "I've only wore 3 uniforms: Boy Scouts, the Army, and Dodger blue." So these guys, as they were drafted in, and you think about in L.A. with the move out there, and they're about 10 years in, and that Koufax era is kind of winding down, and so they need the new injection of those names, all those names. Who was the one that they were like, this guy is going to be a star? Because I know, Garvey was a football player in college. And maybe who was the guy that they were like, oh, crap, this guy, this Penguin dude, Ron Say, we never knew he would be great. So who was like the phenom and who was the unsung guy?
Yeah, well, really, Bobby Valentine was the top player coming out of that draft. He was selected in the first round, 5th overall, and he had offers to play football at USC. He was going to take over for O.J. Simpson, but the Dodgers drafted him first round and convinced him to sign, and then they converted him to shortstop, and really thought he was going to be a lifelong Dodger, and many people thought he was going to have a Hall of Fame career, but ultimately, a couple injuries kind of derailed his career, and ended up having a so-so major league career. But really, some of the guys later in the draft, you mentioned Ron Cey. He's a good example. He was behind on the Dodgers depth chart as a third. And a lot of people think he had the body type really to succeed in the major leagues. He had kind of these short, stout legs, and wasn't a typical athlete per se. But out of the third round in that draft, he went on to have an outstanding career and was part of that great infield that played together for 8 consecutive seasons. So, the Dodgers up and down that draft had a lot of talented players. Some of them ended up having long careers in the major leagues. Others, not so much.
It's funny when I look at these names. There's something that springs to mind for all of them. And Doyle Alexander, who pitched 20 years for a million different teams. All I think of is the John Smoltz trade, and one of the worst trades in Major League history, right?
No doubt. And curiously, he was actually traded to the Orioles for Frank Robinson. So he was actually traded twice for Hall of Fame players. But yeah, a lot of those guys from the '68 draft, even though they didn't go on to become have long careers with the Dodgers, they were used as trade chips to acquire other players. Guys like Bill Buckner was traded to the Cubs for Rick Monday. Tom Paciorek was sent to Atlanta for Dusty Baker, and Doyle Alexander to Baltimore. So that draft reshaped the Dodgers roster and also allowed them to acquire pieces that became key to their pennant-winning teams in the '70s.
I want to say Rick Monday was the first ever draft pick, right?
He was, yeah. 1965, the A's picked him first overall. The Dodgers had tried to sign him a couple years prior to that. Lasorda couldn't convince him to sign. His mom wanted him to go to college, so he went down, attended college for a couple of years, and then was the first draft pick ever in '65. So
before they wore Dodger blue, Spokane Indians, Hawaii Islanders. Talk about some of those teams, and Tommy in Spokane too.
Yeah, that '70 Spokane Indians team, I think, is one of the great minor league teams ever assembled. It was mostly these guys from the '68 draft, as well as a couple of guys from '66. Bill Russell was on that team. Charlie Huff was just learning knuckleball. And the Spokane Indians, under Lasorda that year, really ran the table. They were in first place the entire season, won 94 games, and then met up with another juggernaut in the Pacific Coast League Championship that year, the Hawaii Islanders, who were an Angels farm team that had a bunch of former big leaguers. They were kind of an older, more experienced team managed by Chuck Tanner. And those two teams met in the Pacific Coast League Championship, but the Spokane Indians just dominated the series, swept them in 4 games, and really kind of cemented their place as one of the great minor league teams ever assembled.
And then finally, I remember when, maybe it was when Valentine was with the Mets or wherever he was, he kind of went at it with Tommy, and there was a time when Valentine was manager of the Red Sox. He kind of got sassy with me, and then I remember Tommy Lasorda saying that Bobby Valentine was like his son, and he never loved anybody so much, but, just maybe a bigger hothead than Tommy. What about that relationship?
Yeah, they were very similar guys. They were very outgoing, outspoken, and Bobby, along with Bill Buckner, Tom Paciorek, those guys, Steve Garvey as well, came up in rookie ball with Lasorda. So they were the first guy. Lasorda was the first guy that they met in pro ball, and they really had lifelong relationships and friendships with him. And Lasorda was very much a father figure, and Valentine definitely picked up a lot of the things he did as a manager from Lasorda, no doubt.
You can go to ericvickrey.com, and that is ERICVICKREY.com for more information, wherever good books are sold. Before They Wore Dodger Blue, Tommy Lasorda and the Greatest Draft Class in Baseball History, available from August Publishing. Erik, thanks for your time, and congratulations on the book.
Thanks a lot, Rick. I really enjoyed the conversation.
All right, great stuff. Let's move on. Scout Taylor-Compton, filmmaker, is next.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer, and we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case, and they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. That's 800-853-8931.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
I honestly just got the chills as you described it again for me.
You must be crazy. Use a DOG. And if you was my man, I would have been kicked you out of my house by now. This is what had happened.
All right, we're looking for our guest once again, and if we find her, we'll put her on the air. Coming up in the next segment, award-winning author Castro has a new book, Mickey and Billy, and it's about Mickey Mantle and Billy Martin's friendship, which I think will be really cool to talk to him about, because they had a very, let's just say they like have a drink or two. And I remember a story that Mickey Mantle told on Letterman. And I'll bring it up with Tony in the next segment. But the wheels of the NFL offseason go round and round all through the town. They're in Indianapolis for the Combine. And remember, in football, the emphasis on the second syllable. So it's not offense, defense, and combine. It's offense, defense, combine. And make sure you get some insurance. So the general managers, head coaches will speak at the podium to gaggle of reporters on hand in the hub city. And we will make sure to, it's literally, if you look every 15 minutes with 8 different podiums, like just I'm looking at the schedule here. Omar Khan from Pittsburgh, then Joe Hortiz from the Clippers. LAC looks like Clippers to me. Chargers, Elliott Wolf from New England, Joe Shane from the Giants, Ian Cunningham from Atlanta. He's the new guy. Then Erik DaCosta from Baltimore. John Spytek, boo, from my Raiders. Ryan Poles, still with Chicago. That's the guy that had Mitchell Trubisky, and he still has a job. Good for him. John Eric Sullivan from Miami. I know a John Eric Sullivan. I hope it's not the same guy. Ben Johnson will come up, the head coach of De Beers. Jeff Hafley from Miami. Adam Peters, the former Niners executive who runs the Commanders. Jesse Minter, the newly minted Baltimore head coach there. Nick Caserio. Remember, he was with New England. Oh, if we can only get him in Houston. Well, he's doing an okay job. Robert Saleh, the brand new head coach of your Tennessee Titans. And John Harbaugh, the head coach of the, wait for it, New York Giants. Aaron Glenn with the Jets. Monty Ossenfort. That's a great name. With Arizona, not doing a great job. Daryl Moogie with the Jets. That's who's running things. Darren Moogie. Brandon Beane is still at Buffalo. You got Brian Gutekunst. Kunst means art. Gute means good. Good art. Todd Bowles with Tampa Bay. Yeah, they play in a dome. Will be in the snow for 20 seconds. Joe Brady with Buffalo. You got Dan Campbell's going to bite your kneecaps off at 2 o'clock. Dave Canales with Carolina. Mike LaFleur, the brand new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. John Schneider, fresh off his Super Bowl victory. So you're getting the gist of it. There's 100 more names, but we do have our guest, Rick Tittle, with you coast to coast and around the world on American Forces. We have filmmaker Scout Taylor-Compton talking about her new movie entitled Bring the Law. And Bring the Law will be in theaters and on demand coming up on Friday. And Scout Taylor-Compton is nice enough to join us right now, who has directed the film. Scout, now that you are I don't want to say a grizzled vet because you don't look grizzled, but I think you know what I mean. You now have done several movies. What have you sort of developed a style where it's like, oh, that's a Scout movie right there?
Yeah, hello, by the way. I've sort of explained it like this, man. I've been acting since I was 8 years old, and the past 3 years I've sort of pivoted to directing, and I've been going full speed ahead, and it feels like I'm finding my voice for the first time in my life after playing so many characters my entire life and other people's voices. It feels like I'm finally truly finding my style, what makes me tick, what do I enjoy. I mean, it's just like a massive, wild scout ride, roller coaster at the moment, and I'm just enjoying the ride.
By the way, how fun was it to play Lita Ford, or contrastly, challenging?
Yeah, that whole experience was pretty wild. I actually, I play drums, so I originally went out for the drummer, and they were like, "Well, you don't look like her," and I actually wrote a letter, and I was like, "I need to be you don't understand, like, I need to be a part of this project. I love Joan Jett so much," and I actually was offered the bass player, and so I learned bass. We were in band practice for almost half a month, and we were, I was learning the bass, and we would be doing band practice like 5 days a week. And one day, Kristen and myself, after rehearsal, I just was like, well, let's just like jam out, because the bass player, she didn't really move very much, so my movement was very limited. And so one day after rehearsal, we all just jammed out, and knowing me with an instrument, my hair started flipping, and I started going crazy, and Joan Jett was there every day with us, and Joan's eyes just like went so wide, and she was like, wait a minute, she's like, you play like Lita, do you want to be Lita? And I was like, sure, man, let's do it. So I had to like switch from bass to guitar and learn all of Lita's riffs, which, she's now become a dear friend of mine. But yeah, that was such an insane experience, and one that I'll definitely never forget.
Very cool. All right, Bring the Law. This is about an L.A. homicide detective and against a criminal syndicate. What is the compelling nature of this film? What separates it from the others in this kind of category, Scout?
It's obviously it's a dude movie, it's a cop movie. I'm so into those types of movies. I grew up watching them with my father, but I feel like this one really has a compelling, like, character-driven story, which is what I find attractive. And so playing with bringing the action and bringing everything that, has a cop movie, brings, but also bringing like the emotional element to it, which might have been my woman's touch.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that you're so young, you're in your 30s, but as you said, you've been in this for decades now, and you haven't rested on your laurels. And I think about how obsessed people are with Gilmore Girls and then the Rob Zombie Halloween movies as well, as you keep going from strength to strength. So I guess my last question is, whenever actors are like, oh, I want to direct, I'm sure there's some eyes that roll. What was that like when you really had to prove yourself, like, not only do I know what I'm doing, but I'm good at this?
Yeah, I think for me, I've been wearing these hats for so long, especially in independent filmmaking. I mean, dude, it's all hands on deck. Movies are hard to make now, especially indies. And as an actor doing a lot of independent films, I sort of would push my acting to the side, and I would do everything I possibly could for the production to help it make it to the finish line. And doing that so much, I was like, wait, I feel like I can do this. And fortunately, I've worked with so many people repetitively, because that's kind of how you do it. You become friends, and you want to work with people that believe in you and can get a project going, that I just had mentioned it to a producer, and I was like, you know what, I really want to take a stab at this. And that person didn't hesitate. It was almost like he was like, well, I was waiting for this time to come. And so the fact that I had so much support early on just shows, even from making Bring the Law, which was through 2 years ago, from, I've done 5 projects since as a director, and I feel like I have evolved and found myself and found exactly where I want to be. But I think it wasn't a surprise to anybody that this is what I was going to do.
Wow.
Nor to me either.
I hate cutting you off. We got to run to a break. Bring the Law in theaters on demand on the 27th. There's a Mickey Rourke sighting in there as well. We've been speaking to director Scout Taylor-Compton. Congrats, Scout. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks so much.
All right, there's a little cherry bomb right there. Come on back.
Wendy's has a new Girl Scout Thin Mints Frosty Fusion with Girl Scout Thin Mints cookie pieces, rich creamy frosty, and a mint chocolate cookie sauce. Which means Girl Scout Thin Mints and Wendy's Frosty, yeah, they're basically best friends now. It's like two delicious desserts just high-fived, snapped a few too many friendship selfies, and then rode a tandem bike down a never-ending road of mint chocolate frosty perfection. So, swing by Wendy's and try the new Thin Mints Frosty Fusion.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busywork. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
This is special too. It's look, see, still got the tagger on it. See, never even played it. See? You just bought it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. I wasn't going to touch it. No, don't touch it. I was just pointing at it. Don't point even. Don't even point? No, it can't be played. Never. I mean, can I look at it? No, you've seen enough of that one.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
Thanks for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces radio networks. I interview a lot of sports authors, and this book I'm really looking forward to reading that I'm holding in my hands right now, holding it up for the YouTube and Twitch.tv cameras. It's called Mickey and Billy, The Glory and Tragedy of a Yankee Friendship. This is available now from Diversion Books from our guest, the award-winning author, Tony Castro. Tony, welcome to the show. And this isn't just a research project for you. This was a labor of love. You were friends with the Mick, right?
I was friends with the Mick back in 1970. I was a year out of Baylor University. I had just graduated, and Mickey was a year out of baseball, and he didn't know what to do with himself at that time. And it was just an odd time to meet, who was, for the most part, my great sports hero growing up. He, and by the way, I don't know if he's any relation to you, but Y.A. Tittle. And I've always wanted to meet somebody with that name. I don't know if you should him, Rick. Are you?
I'm not, but Yelberton Abraham, that's why he went by Y.A. Why would you not at that point? But I remember when Mantle was on Letterman, and he told the story about how Billy and Whitey and them were going to go hunting, and just to make the story a little bit shorter, Mickey pretended that the guy wouldn't let him hunt, and he said the guy had asked him to kill one of his horses, so he shot it, and then Billy shot one of his cows. I mean, that part of the hijinks from what these guys would get up to, right? Didn't Casey Stengel call them like the whiskey slicks?
Oh, they were incredible, and yes, that was the name, and among many, then some that could be used in polite company. But yeah, it was that was a great cow story that, of course, wasn't true, but it was how many of these great stories that we hear are ever true? And yeah, the cow story. It's a lot of people think it happened. It actually happened. I mean, I have a Facebook group, Rick, that we have maybe 33,000 members on it, and a day hardly ever goes by when I'm not asked that question, or somebody doesn't bring it up, or somebody tells the story, and they swear it's true. And it was, but I mean, that was the sports of the day. You didn't have the 24-hour news cycle, and you didn't have programs like yours, or you didn't have other shows where heroes of the day could show up and tell stories or just be interviewed. And I guess that's the wonderful deal today, where you're talking to people as these things are happening. You're talking to Joe Montana about 2 generations later in quarterbacks, and we're talking about a guy like Mickey Mantle and his good pal Billy Martin, as if they were still around, because those stories are still genuine to so many sports fans, especially the Yankee fans. Yankee fans are great to have, but they can get a bit one-sided about life and about reality. And for many of them, Mickey Mantle and Billy Martin are still as alive as they were back in the 1950s.
Billy Martin is a guy that I admire a lot. We're both from the Berkeley area. He came back to the A's when I was in high school for Billy Ball, and Ricky Henderson was a rookie, and he was supposed to be born again. He put a little crucifix on his A's hat, which would never be allowed these days. But my dad was about the same age, and my dad's team was the Oakland Oaks, because my dad's from Oakland. And you think about Stengel and some of these other guys and the DiMaggio brothers with the Seals. The PCL was an amazing league at that time. But if just talking about incidents, what about the famous Copacabana incident, where it was kind of a huge party, and you got guys like, obviously Mickey, Whitey, and Billy, but Yogi, and Hank Bauer, who fought at Guadalcanal, and then there's this massive, giant fight. What was that incident all about?
That was Billy's birthday. Billy's birthday party that began someplace else at a couple of other bars before that, and it was these guys out on the town with their wives. The great thing about baseball at that time for these guys was that they played most of their games, especially during the week, during the day. So they were out drinking at night, having dinner with their wives, and so often, the wives are much a part of this. And so there are these photographs that attest to how you had Bauer and Mrs. Bauer, and you had Whitey and Mrs. Ford, and you had, of course, Mickey and Merlin, and you had Billy, who I think was between wives or between girlfriends, take your pick. And they showed up at just before the 2 a.m. show at the kind of drawing a senior moment here for the show, and it was Sammy Davis Jr. who was performing at that 2 a.m. show. I mean, imagine this: you've got these baseball greats, and you have this entertainment great, and everybody had been drinking, and Billy was barely on the team. I mean, he was certainly the heart of the team of the Yankees at that time, but the ownership was hostile, is putting it mildly, in the way they treated Billy. They just thought Billy was the reason that there were so many problems arising at that point. Mickey Mantle's drinking issues had already started becoming a problem, and they just blamed Billy because of this. As it turned out, a side story to all of this was that one of the things I learned from Mickey in those interviews that I had with him, those conversations in the 1970s, was that he had been drinking since he had been in high school back in the late 40s. Teenage boys at that point did what teenage boys probably do still today. Possibly harder stuff today, I don't know. But so you had Mickey's situation, both the good and the bad. He suddenly was becoming the face of the Yankees there in the 1950s. In 1956, of course, he had his greatest year. 1957, he was having another great year statistically, but he was having these times when he was showing up drunk, or at least hung over at the stadium, and the Yankee management wanted to do something about it, and they thought that Billy was a distraction, and they were plotting already on how to get rid of Billy. They just didn't realize it was going to happen so quickly. And so in the summer of 1957, you have Billy having this birthday party. You have a fight that breaks out, because what happens at the Copacabana that evening is that you have, in addition to the Mickey Mantle and Billy Martin party, you have a party of bowlers from someplace in New Jersey who are there. And these guys, we're talking about a different era, in the 1950s, and you have these guys who are making racial taunts and racial comments about Sammy Davis Jr., who's on stage. And the Yankees had gone through a sensitivity kind of session over the last couple of years, because the Yankees hadn't had any black ball players. They were among the last teams to integrate in baseball. They hadn't had any black teammates until Elston Howard. And while I don't believe Elston was at this party, the Yankees had gone to great lengths to make Elston not only feel like a part of the team, but to stand up for him in incidents like in the South during spring training, when they wouldn't serve Elston, and the Yankees would stand up and go out and maybe even eat lunch with him in the team bus, because they, otherwise Elston wasn't going to eat. So you have this Yankees with their new sensitivities about race, who took offense at, and well, they should have, as should anybody have, about the racial taunts being hurled at Sammy Davis Jr. And one thing leads to another, and they come to blows. Who exactly threw the blow? Nobody is certain about it. There's even a bouncer at the who's still around from that period, who claims he's the one that threw the punch. Everybody else just seems to have blamed it on Hank Bauer. And the fact that you had this incident, which made the headlines, because not only did you have the Yankees and Yankee and other celebrities there at the Copacabana that night, but you had the media was an entirely different animal at that time, and you had these gossip columnists who were always out and about and had these great stories to tell, and one of them wound up being this particular story. It was on the front page, top story, 2 days later in several New York papers. And so here you have the Yankee ownership and management who just blow it, and within a matter of a couple of weeks, well before the trading deadline that they had at that time, they wind up trading Billy Martin to the Kansas City Athletics, who were all but they were like a wholly owned subsidiary of the New York Yankees. When the Yankees needed to trade players or pick up better players, they would wind up dealing with other American League teams and a few National League teams, but primarily with the Kansas City Athletics. I mean, that was how they wound up getting Roger Maris, through the Athletics.
Well,
so anyway, that was the story, and it was just it kept on getting bigger and bigger. It wound up becoming a court story within a matter of about 2 months, because these players from the bowling team who had been beaten up by not only Hank Bauer but other Yankees that were there wound up filing lawsuits, and there were charges that were assault charges that were filed as well.
We're out of time, unfortunately. I've got about 50 more questions, but we're out of time. We just got to read the book. The book is called Mickey and Billy, The Glory and Tragedy of a Yankee Friendship, from Diversion Books, and we've been speaking to the New York Times best-selling author, Tony Castro. Tony, great job on this, and let's catch up down the road.
Thank you for having me. Sorry to pushed it so long, but it's just a fabulous incident.
No, it's great stuff. We really appreciate it. Let's take a quick break, and we will come on back on Sports Byline.
You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-247-6135. 800-247-6135. That's 800-247-6135.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
This is a true, sad story for ADT, the leader in home security systems. My favorite dog, Oliver, was stolen from our garage recently. If I had a camera system installed in my home from ADT, I would have known exactly what car possibly pulled up in my driveway and stole my little friend. If I had a security system from ADT, my dog would still be here. I called ADT this weekend, and they're coming out in a few days to install a camera and a new security system. Unfortunately, it's a little too late for me. Listen, protect everyone you love in your family. Call ADT now. Have them come out and give you a quote to install a full security system in your home. Don't let it be too late for you. Call right now.
Paid for by the Home Security Hotline. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. That's 800-361-3491.
I hope I don't see you for a while. Getting sick of you.
Take your sick ass in the hospital.
Tittle can usually be found at He Baby Mama House.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. You know, Mickey Mantle, one of the reasons he partied so hard is his dad, Mutt Mantle, who was a minor league player, I should say semi-pro player, died when he was 40 of cancer. And so Mantle kind of had this fatalistic thing, like he wasn't going to last that long. His dad named him after Mickey Cochran, the Hall of Fame catcher. But think about this. He retires in '69, did play at the Oakland Coliseum. Inducted into the Hall of Fame, first ballot, 1974. 88% of the votes. 20-time All-Star. 7 times World Series champion. A 3-time American League MVP. A Triple Crown. Throw in a batting title. Throw in a Gold Glove. Led the American League in home runs 4 times. Was the AL RBI leader. Had his number 7 retired. Was in Monument Park. 88% of the vote. And the reason is that some, I don't know how to describe them, but some people probably didn't like the fact that he liked to have a drink. I remember one time he was on Letterman. He talked about how he was on the disabled list, and he woke up in a public park on a park bench. He got so drunk. They were on the road somewhere. And he had morning dew on his face, but he knew he wasn't going to play because he was on the DL. And he was sitting on a bench, and it was like late in the game, and he goes, "Mantle, you're up." And he said, "I'm on the DL." And they go, "No, you came off this morning." He said, "I was sitting on my hat, which was bent sideways. I put it on, hung over, ran to the plate, and hit a home run on the first pitch." And he said, 2 things I'll never forget. "I tried to hit a home run every time I was up, and I sit fastball and react to everything else." That is the best advice you'll ever have. Don't ever sit on a breaking ball and then have a pitch go right by you. All right, another hour to go. Get on in at 1-800-878-PLAY.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. The United States men's hockey team won the Olympic gold medal for the first time in 46 years, which of course caused most in the media to do the easy and incorrect thing and invoke the Miracle on Ice team of 1980. Deservedly so, much gets made of that team's shocking upset of the Soviet Union's Red Machine during the 13th Winter Games in Lake Placid. The Soviets had won 4 consecutive Olympic gold medals in the sport and always fared well against professionals from the National Hockey League. So as time ticked off and Al Michaels made his legendary call, it truly was a magical moment in the history of American sport. It wasn't guaranteed that the U.S. would make it out of the elimination round, so if the story had ended there, it still would have been very special. But 2 days later, on February 24th, 1980, the Americans went on to finish their mission and win the gold medal. While it wasn't as notable as downing the Soviets, the United States rallying to upset Finland is just as impressive and important. The way the tournament worked at the time, if the U.S. lost against Finland, the Soviets would have won the gold medal due to point differential. In fact, if the U.S. lost by several goals, they wouldn't have medaled at all. So you can imagine how the team felt being down 2-1 to begin the third period. It took 3 unanswered goals. Phil Vershada to tie it, Rob McClanahan's go-ahead, and Mark Johnson sealing it. All while goaltender Jim Craig stopped all 10 shots he faced that period. the first United States hockey gold medal in 20 years. So while the game against the Soviets was magical, it was the game against Finland that allowed the American story of that Olympics to become legendary. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning.
Forward to the gold medal. This impossible dream comes true.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
Rick Tittle knows his sports. I hate that guy. I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fun. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it. Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you so much, and welcome to Titillating Sports. Hour 3, hour. Should be wide open. JD Sharp might call in. If he does, we'll come on the air. He's with Pro Wagering, professional handicapper. But lots of open lines. 1-800-878-PLAY. MLB owners have voted to enforce a new rule on the first and third base coaches that they cannot leave their coaching box until a pitch is thrown. Now, those boxes are pretty huge, and obviously third base coaches, they line themselves up. And I remember hearing, who was the guy with a band?
Tim Flannery.
Flannery, thank you. Tim Flannery, as third base coach for Bruce Bochy, he used to say, don't look at me until you get to second. I'm not going to tell you to go to second. He goes, you're closer to the ball than I am. Once you get to second, now your back is turned to the outfield, and I got to be your eyes. So he had to line himself up, like all third base coach. Chip Hale is very good with the A's. You line yourself up for the runner to see you so you can put on the brakes or wave them in. But the reason they don't want coaches to leave the boxes, and they're making it a rule, is because they're afraid of sign stealing. This whole sign stealing. If a third base or first base coach steals your sign, what's wrong with that? So I guess they're saying, what if you, and look, a lot of guys just don't stand where they're told to. I used to coach with a guy who would stand one step onto the field. I go, we're going to get a flag. He goes, I'm good, coach. I go, yeah, but I'm not good. Get the hell back. So they want to cut down on sign stealing, and they think this will help. All right. It seems kind of dumb, but yeah, it is a big box. Stay in your box. We need a goal. Get in the box. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with SportsBettingClaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires, carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulate consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our Better Blue Pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our Better Blue Pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the Better Blue Pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
If you've got a property that you've been trying to sell and you've tried almost everything, I want to tell you about something that you haven't tried yet. You're going to think this offer is too good to be true, but it's not. Thousands of customers sold their homes in any condition with Need to Sell My Home. This is a real opportunity from a highly rated company that buys homes all over the country. Did you know it's possible to sell your home right over the phone with no real estate commissions and no pesky open houses? Plus, every offer is a cash offer with no mortgage holdups. To find out how much you can sell your home or property for, call now. Take 5 minutes of your time and call for this 100% free quote to sell your home.
800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. That's 800-430-0674.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome, he's a genius.
I am so excited to be back on the Rick Tittle Show.
Thanks for that. Welcome to Hour 3. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast around the world on American Forces Network 1112. This is when we like to check in with our friend J.D. Sharp from Pro Wagering, a professional prognosticator, handicapper, bettor. J.D., the Major League Baseball has a new rule that third and first base coaches can't leave their coaching box until after the pitch. Now, we know those boxes are very big, and third base coaches obviously need to get out of that box when they're waving a guy in or holding them up after the pitch. But they're saying they're going to crack down on this to cut down on sign stealing. Now, I thought that if you were a player coach and you saw something with your eyes, there's nothing wrong with that. Is maybe an overreaction that baseball is so panicked that maybe the integrity of the game is being questioned from, the garbage can gate with the Astros and then the new technologies moving forward?
I think I like what Major League Baseball is doing. I think it makes sense with taking control of the strike zone because there's been a lot of problems. It's been very clear cut that there have been discrepancies with certain umpires. Maybe they have allegiances to teams, maybe they don't, but they're making calls. They're taking calls. They're, for whatever reason, they are making them the way that they're making them. And I don't know. And that's obviously having a negative impact, I think, on the fan experience and also just for the players themselves. We've seen a lot more players get pissed off in the middle of an at-bat because they know that the ball is 3 or 4 inches outside or 3 or 4 inches too high or too low or whatever it is. They know it's outside the strike zone. Or, on the other side, they know that it is a strike and it's not being called a strike. So I think that makes sense, adding that automated element to it. They shouldn't have to. I wish they didn't have to. But in a country where roughly 80% of the states have legalized sports betting and players are paid millions and umpires are paid thousands and life gets more and more expensive every single year, that's just a possibility. That's just something you're going to have to deal with. That's a problem you're going to have to deal with in that atmosphere, Rick.
I'm a huge fan of the ABS. I just wish it was more than 2 challenges. I wish it was 3 like the minors, but I think that's a really cool thing. But the whole cheating thing, I remember when Ariel Prieto was a coach with the Diamondbacks, he went to the mound, and then later on he found out that he was fined because when he went to the mound, he was wearing an Apple Watch. And that's just any technology is they've got a jeweler's eyepiece on this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it because they don't want the players to have this extreme, like this major advantage. They want to avoid that to the best of their ability. So I get what they're coming from there. But on the other side, having the advances, having these technological advancements, they make the game more efficient. They make the game easier to consume for the fan base, or for the viewers. So you have to look at both sides when you're making a decision like this. And also, when you do get negative feedback, you have to look at both sides. Is what's actually the better decision for the league itself? Considering that we are an entertainment league, we make money off of viewers, we make money off of fans being interested in our product and consuming our content. So let's make that, if it's easier for the fans and the fans are more comfortable watching our sport, then they're going to spend more money with us and our league is going to do better. So I think obviously you have to factor that in, and that's just the reality when sports isn't, really, at the end of the day, it's all about money. It has to be. If these team owners you don't have a chance of being an owner unless you're a a 500 million plusaire or an actual billionaire. And so it's an incentive for you, and you're expected to make money, and you're only if the fans or that they actually enjoy your product.
All right, switching gears real quick. Today's the first day of the Underwear Olympics. All the GMs and head coaches are at these podiums in Indianapolis. And as we go through the week, we'll start looking at different positions. And no one is actually going to play football. They're going to do cone drills and lift weights and get poked and prodded by doctors and such things. And so just overall, I mean, obviously the stopwatch is important to see how fast guys can run. And I remember when 4.6 was lightning, and now 4.6 is considered slow. So, I mean, the athletes are getting better. How much stock do you put into the combine as a prognosticator, and how much do you watch it just as a fan?
I've always liked the combine. I really like Mike Mayock. The movement skills, those movement skills. I like listening to Mayock. I like listening to Charles. What was his partner, Charles? What was his last name?
Tillman?
No, not Tillman. No, not Charles Tillman. Not Peanut. No, this was. I can't think of his name, but he was always doing the Mayock. He was always doing the combine with Mayock, and he ended up getting a pretty big NFL job, kind of like Mayock did. Although I think that the Raiders, I think that they cut ties with Mayock a little early. They didn't give him enough of a shot, but I like the combine. It's interesting to see who the athletic freaks are. The 40, the vertical, the 10, the 20, all these different the bench reps, et cetera, et cetera. And I think there is a bit of a predictive element to it. Like J.J. Watt, for example, had an unbelievable combine. He was 6'5", 290 pounds. He was good at Wisconsin. It wasn't amazing, but the combine shows you, okay, if I had this guy that's got good tape and he has the size and he has those specific attributes and he works hard, plus he has all this extra athletic ability, well, then you can predict a Hall of Fame, borderline legendary career like J.J. Watt had, he was 6'5", 280. He had 11-inch hands. He had 35 bench reps. He had 34-inch arms. He ran a 4.75. He had a 38-inch vertical leap. He had like a 4.2 shuttle. He had maybe a 7.4 or 7.3 cone, or actually I think it was like a high 6.9 cone. I mean, every single attribute you could ever think of that you would want to see in a player, he blew that out of the water in flying colors. So I think that there is a predictive element. Mostly got guys like Mike Mamula, who was an absolute combine superstar, ended up going to the Eagles, obviously, top 3, top 5 pick, whatever. Maybe it was number 7. But he ended up being a total bust, or a Tony Mandarich, who ended up being a total bust. He was 6'5", 315, actually ran like a low 4.6. You remember that. And he was a complete bust himself because those guys were juicing. Those guys were taking steroids. They were pumping their bodies up for that particular moment. And then guys like a Dante Stallworth, remember, who another Al Davis pick, who ran a 4.21 or 4.25 or 4.28 out of Tennessee, wide receiver. He was a first-round pick, had very, very average tape in college, didn't have a ton of production, but he was 6'1", he had long arms, he ran that 4.2, 4.2, 4.3. So I think that there's guys that, number one, guys like Al can just become enamored with somebody based on their combine, and they can set back their franchise 4 or 5 years. On the other side, I think it gives GMs a chance, like really in-tune GMs and owners a chance to pick up players like a Leo Chanel from Wisconsin, right, who was relatively unknown at Wisconsin. But he had a 40-inch vertical leap. He had a low 4.5 40. He had a 6.8 cone. He had a low 4.01, 4.02 shuttle. He had 25 reps. He goes on the Chiefs. He easily wins the Super Bowl, ends up being one of the most underrated defensive players in the NFL. They draft in the 2nd or 3rd round. So the combine allows that to happen as well, where I think it's a major benefit for talented, perceptive GMs. But on the other side, it can also get these GMs and these owners that are just obsessed with these freak shows, right? Like Vernon Davis. It can really get them in trouble. Not only,
well, I mean,
your job.
Yeah, I mean, Vernon Davis was a good player, but I mean, it's the Jeff George syndrome, where everyone was like, we have to. By the way, before I let you go, I want to throw one Mike Mayock story at you. So 2 years ago, for the Army-Navy Radio Row, we had it at Arlington National Cemetery, and Mike Mayock sat down with me for about 15 minutes, and at the end, because I was a D2 safety, he was a D1 at BC, and he teased me that he had more interceptions than me. So here's a guy who's 66 years old, still teasing people. So you can
I love that.
You can take the jock out of the gym, but you can't take the gym out of the jock, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
All right, J.D. Sharp.
Guys like that are competitive for life, Rick.
They're lifers. Tell us the email address people would like to contact you and get more info.
Absolutely. Sharp at betmypicks.com. I'm heating up in college basketball. I have a great understanding of the league. I have a good idea of what's going to take place. By the way, A.J. Dibansa, this kid is generational. I haven't seen a player with a complete offensive game as him, maybe ever, in college basketball. Kids at BYU.
There he is, J.D. Sharp, sharp at betmypicks.com. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rick.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We got open lines the rest of the way, so come on back.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer, and we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case, and they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
Sometimes life changes, and the house you once loved becomes a burden. Too many repairs, too many memories, too much to handle on your own. If you'd like to sell your home fast, we can help at the Home Buyers Hotline. We can help you sell your home as is. No cleaning, no showings. There are absolutely no hidden fees or real estate commissions. We'll pay you a fair price for your home in cash. Whether you're downsizing, handling an estate, or just ready for peace of mind, call us. We'll help you walk away from your problem property in no time at all and get you cash in your bank account with little hassles. If you'd like to sell your home fast, as is, we can help at the Home Buyers Hotline.
Call Want to Sell Your Home now for a free quote to sell your home in any condition. Call 800-950-3143. 800-950-3143. That's 800-950-3143.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now, and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
If we're handing out insults for being fat, let's have a go at him. Look at him. What? And he's got glasses. It's got 4 eyes as well. What do we call him? Fatty, fatty toad boy. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't be getting your granny panties all in a bunch. We got Tittle up in here.
Thanks for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast, around the world on AFN. Lines are open, 1-800-878-7529. The NFL is considering allowing replay officials to throw flags for non-football acts. Well, what does that mean? Well, the competition committee is in Indianapolis with the Combine. And this is what Troy Vincent said, former wideout with the Patriots, NFL Executive Vice President of Football Ops for many years. He said, you don't just want to be expanding the Pandora's box, but we believe that things like the non-football act, you can really, really restrict what that is. That's something that we believe that potentially there's a little bit of tweaking in the language. That may be a first step. All right, well, it would be, the chance would be extremely limited, and I don't think it would change anything football related, but Vincent did give a couple of examples of incidents last season in which rules officials should have thrown the flag, but they didn't see it. The most notable, of course, came in the Super Bowl, when the Patriots' Stephon Diggs and Seattle's Josh Jobe got into it on the sideline, and Jobe threw a punch that hit Diggs in the face mask. And they got separated, and there was no flag. So if they had on-site replay, they could have thrown a penalty or ejected Jobe for the punch, which should have happened, right? Instead, nothing happened. So Vincent was admittedly hesitant about this change and knows how frustrating it could be for a player to get hit with a delayed penalty like that. It's kind of like my cousin in the 90s got a speeding ticket, and the cop said it was from a plane. The plane overhead gave it. You know, when it says speed enforced by radar or by airplane. In 96, I was in Holland, and I got home, and I got this, I don't know, 2-3 weeks later, in the mailbox, an envelope from Amsterdam, and it said, in other words, it was Dutch. And I translated it, and it was a speeding ticket. After the fact, in my rental car, speeding ticket from the Netherlands, right? And I thought, ooh, I'm going to pay that. And then in 2019, when I was with the Raiders in London, and then I spent a week on the continent, went through the Channel. It's amazing, so fast, less than 3 hours from Liverpool Street Station to the Gare du Nord. But when I flew home from Frankfurt to Amsterdam, back to San Francisco. And in the back of my mind, like I remember in college, when I was at St. Mary's and my girlfriend was at Cal, I got so many parking tickets because I would go over to a sorority to study at night, and I'd come out and I'd have a ticket. And then, you know, dumb 19-year-old, I'd have a bunch of tickets, and I just put in my mailbox, and I thought, and they all tripled. You know, now it would be obscene beyond belief, but back then it was pretty bad when you didn't have any money, and I was like, oh, they'll get you. Oh, yeah, you can't renew your license. That happened to another guy I knew. And so I thought, all right, well, let's see, that ticket I got was in 96, and now it's 2019. Like, how many years has that ticket gone? And I thought, they don't care. But I remember when I was at Schiphol Airport in Holland, and I showed the guy my passport, everybody was just boop, 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 going right through. He did mine, and it went, and I went, oh, no. And I just thought, this is going to be a horrific fine. And actually, 2006, not 96. It was the 2006. Okay. It wasn't so. It was 13 years. But still, then the guy beeped it again, and I went through. I was like, oh, my gosh. But they did get me because I parked my Volvos the night before I was leaving. I was in Amsterdam, and I parked it in a spot. I paid the meter. I got some last-minute trinkets and gifts, travel gifts. Threw them in the trunk, went back out to dinner, came back, car's gone. And there happened to be a guy across the street, the valet parker for a hotel, and he was like, blue Volvo? I was like, yeah. He goes, they just towed it away. Like just now. I go, the meter's still going. He goes, you see that faded X on the ground? I guess. Yeah, you can't park where there's an X. But I fed the meter. He goes, no, it's a trick. And I go, those Dutch SOBs. You tulip, wooden shoe, windmill, crazy ass. He says, I know where it went, and I got in a cab. And they had my rental car for less than 20 minutes. And it was 417 euros to get it out. So basically $500. So I guess in the end, the Dutch did get me. All right, back to Troy Vincent. He said, that may be the first step in getting to putting flags on the field. I just think in the era of legalized sports betting, just as a former player, I would have found it very difficult to be at Lincoln Financial Field. A big play occurred. Nothing happened real time in the stadium. And then all of a sudden, 10, 12, or 25 seconds later, before the ball being snapped, I see a flag on the field before the next snap. I don't know. So even he's questioning it. He already called it opening Pandora's box when he said not to open. It's sort of like saying, no offense, but I'll get ready to be offended. Or like when someone says, I'm a Christian, but get ready to hear something not very Christian. It's supposed to be, Christianity is supposed to be about love and forgiveness. When someone says, well, I'm a Christian, uh-oh, there's no love or forgiveness coming next. Something bad is about to be uttered. It's like when guys say, I have daughters. I could never be mean to a woman. What? What has that got to do with anything? But, yeah, that would suck as a player, as Vincent was thinking out loud in front of the world. It's like, okay, play's over. Blue 85, tweet, tweet, tweet. Stop. What? We got a little VAR upstairs. What happened? That elbow you gave that guy. Yeah? We saw it. There's a thing now with the VAR in soccer, if you don't watch. They don't adjudicate yellow cards, but they can give red cards. So it's usually if your studs are showing. Now, a lot of times, that's the only way you can slide. And if you just happen to clip somebody, I can understand getting a booking. But now you can slide without malicious intent and catch somebody on the calf with your studs and be like, oh, crap, sorry. And then the referee's like, all right, dude, that's a yellow card. And the guy's like writhing in agony, but he gets up, he shakes your hand, he knows you didn't mean it. It still hurts. All right, well, let's go on. Wait, hold on. What? VAR says on the scoreboard, possible red card violation. Yeah, and then you take a Zapruder picture of the incident, right? And all you see is a guy's studs in a guy's calf. Red card. So that would suck. All right. Come on back, everybody.
is here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Do you want to add a boost to your sex life this weekend? Do you want to make your partner and yourself happy? Then call our special hotline now. We'll sell you those little pills that work below the belt for less than $1 a pill and deliver your package in a few days, just in time for the weekend. Our pill delivers almost the same results as expensive pills for less than $1 a piece, and you don't need a prescription. And ask about their buy 3 get 3 free offer. What are you waiting for? Boost your sex life and have a great time now. Less than $1 a pill, discreet delivery in a few days, and a buy 3 get 3 free offer? Dial this number and save it now.
800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. That's 800-245-2751. Paid for by the Pharmacy Shop.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
You take 'em all, the man, and put 'em in control. Watch him become a god. Watch people dance a roll.
Don't ask Will to bring it, because it already done got brought.
It gotten broughten. 1-800-878-PLAY. All right. Let's go to the rumor mill from the Combine. These are updates on CBS Sports in the last couple hours. The Seahawks GM John Schneider just told reporters that, quote, obviously we'd love, end quote, to re-sign Kenneth Walker. So he was asked, are you going to franchise him? And he said, no comment. Offensive coordinator Brad Idzik will take over play calling for the Panthers, Dave has announced. David Montgomery, hiccup, Belch, is under contract for 2 more years with the Lions, but there's no guaranteed money. So Brad Holmes, the GM, was asked about that. He said those conversations are still fluid, and we'll see how it goes. Oh, in other words, that's a non-answer. The Jets are looking to keep Breece Hall, and their GM, Darren Moogie, said, wasn't that Elliott and something about Mary? Moogie, what are you doing here? He said the tags are an option. Remember, there are two different types of franchise tags. So Moogie said if we don't get a deal done before the deadline, which is March 3rd, it's Tuesday, next Tuesday, he said they will tag him. And Glenn, the head coach, says that he's calling all the defense. And that's why he targeted the likes of Frank Reich to be their offensive coordinator. Remember when the Raiders hired Jack Del Rio? He had been head coach of the Jets and had some success, but he was head coach of the Broncos, and they won the Super Bowl as the defensive coordinator. And so he came in, and he hired Ken Norton Jr. to be DC. And I used to talk to Del Rio a lot, but I said, you're calling the defense? He goes, Kenny calls it. But you're in the room? He goes, Kenny's in charge. All right, Bill Musgrave was the offensive coordinator, and Del Rio said, I wish we hadn't done so many hitch passes. You're the head coach. You understand offense. You can't play defense without understanding offense. Stick your head in the room midweek or before the game or during the game. Hey, OC, yeah, don't do that anymore. Don't do what? Hitch passes. I'm sick of them. They're not working. They're not setting anything up. Just forget it. Move on. Kenny calls the defense. Bill calls the offense. All right. Browns GM Andrew Berry mentioned that he wants to rebuild the offensive line like the Bears. What does that mean? Well, Chicago traded for 2 vets, signed a vet, and then drafted one in the second round to go along with Darnell Wright. They had one guy, and they added 4 more, and then, of course, they went to the playoffs. So Andrew Berry was asked, what do you want to see from Shedeur Sanders? He said, quote, I think the biggest thing we want to see from Shedeur is just continued growth. I think he learned a lot from start 1 to start 7. Where's Dylan Gabriel in the conversation? Is he still ahead of Sanders in the depth chart? I guess. Bucs GM Jason Licht updated Mike Evans' pending free agency because he is in a free agent situation, and his Hall of Fame tenure with the Buccaneers could be at risk. Jason Licht said, quote, would love to have Mike back. Well, the Tampa Bay Times' Rick Stroud says, quote, we'll see how this process plays out. We'll see how the process plays out as Mike's earnest decision to see what's out there and what's best for him. Remember, he came back when Brady left, when everybody was like, all right, well, Gronk's gone and Brady's gone, Arians is gone. And they said, we don't have anyone. They went and got Baker Mayfield. He's like, I'm sticking around. What do you have, 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons, first guy ever? Casario called the C.J. Stroud speculation moronic. Yes, of course it is. And so some people said, he wasn't very good last year. You're going to trade him? And he said, that's moronic. And he said that they would never trade C.J. At least not this year. I remember when Billy Beane said, only Jamal Weeks is untouchable. Yeah. The Chiefs GM, Brett Veach, he says, we want to get more explosive in the running game. Now, they do have the 9th overall pick, and Jeremiah Love will be sitting there. Or they could look to free agency. I said, will Breece Hall be available? Jesse Minter, the new head coach of the Ravens. First, Erik, the GM, got up there, and he said that he is going to reset the market on Tyler Linderbaum, the center. Jesse Minter said Linderbaum is, quote, the best center in the league, and they'd love to have him back. Well, what about Travis Kelce, Brett Veach? Veach said, we're kind of prepared for either scenario. Coach had mentioned on Friday he's had great dialogue with Travis on our end, myself, Travis's crew. We've had some good dialogue there. Travis is the best. He's an icon, and hopefully he comes back, and we'll just let that process play out. All right, Steelers GM Omar Khan. Is Aaron Rodgers coming back? He said, it was a great experience with Aaron. He knows how we feel. We've had some good conversations. Pretty certain we'll have an answer sooner or later. Now, what about the Raiders? Could they trade out of the number one spot? And John Spytek, the Raiders GM, did acknowledge that he's not hanging up the phone. He said, quote, I learned a long time ago, always listen. I'm always listening. Well, because you can't dismiss out of hand. If they say, we'll give you Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and our next 5 number ones, you say, okay. You don't go, we really like Fernando Mendoza. Now, that call's not going to happen. Although one time it did. I remember Bobby Beathard traded 2 number ones at the last minute to get that linebacker from Seattle that wasn't very good. And somebody might lose their mind. By the way, the other thing about DaCosta and the Ravens is Lamar Jackson and getting him an extension. He has signed for 2 more years. His cap hit this year, $74.5 million. His cap hit the year after that, $74.5 million. If you give him an extension, that cap hit comes way down. So DaCosta was asked, are you confident in getting a Lamar deal done, or the extension? Quote, I am. I definitely am. Jonathan Jones is reporting that the Dolphins would love for someone to give them draft compensation and take on his contract. They know that's unlikely, so they think that they'll have to pay a lot of Tua's contract. And if that Tua post June 1st, that's the option that most people in the league anticipate. The Bears have received trade calls on Tyson Bagent, who beat the Raiders. It's pretty amazing that Tyson Bagent, a 2-year, $10 million extension last season to back up Caleb Williams. John Erik Sullivan from the Dolphins, he had a few things to say. He said, we will definitely draft a quarterback this year. Not saying what round. He said they are not actively trying to move Devon Achane or Jalen Waddle, running back and wide receiver, respectively. What about Tua? He said everything's on the table. And he said they have not in particular said he wants to stay. And they said, what about trading Minkah Fitzpatrick? He said, I'm listening. Basically, call me up. What do you got? You know that friend that's always up or down for everything, which means the same thing? Hey, I'm down for it. I was thinking about, I'm up for it. Let's go to the phone lines, and we got Charlie in Hell's Kitchen. Charlie, what about that blizzard? I guess you guys got a little sun today?
If I could find the picture, a buddy of mine took a picture of himself cross-country skiing down Broadway.
Wow.
And he went from he went down almost the whole length of, from Midtown down to the Battery Park City.
Wow.
Just and he had it on his GoPro thing. That was the funniest thing. It was, what do they call it? A bomb, a blizzard bomb?
Bomb cyclone.
No, bomb cyclone.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it is what it is. The last one, I don't know, it was like 15 years ago from what I remember. But yeah, it was crazy. It's just weird weird how most of the streets are just completely quiet, very quiet. You want to walk, you want to get anywhere quickly, well, relatively quickly, because no one's out. But yeah, it is what it is. No snow by you?
No, I do remember being in New York in 2019, and I was about ankle deep, but at least the streets were open and plowed.
Oh, no. Yes, yeah. No, they're getting them plowed. They're doing a good job. I mean, there were parts of Long Island that got up towards 30 inches of snow. Montauk out by the Long Island, you know, the whole the coast there.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm doing a meteorological update. I only have about a minute. Go ahead, sir. I'm
just saying, like these quarterbacks you're talking about, like Tua, and trade for these guys. They're going to have to be cut. Like nobody would trade. Or seriously, Lamar Jackson. If you trade for him, why would you take on that pay? Like, what team would do that? Like, you know, there were early rumors the Raiders trade their number one for Lamar Jackson. Why would you do that to a team that's in a complete rebuild mode? Or even Joe Burrow, who I have like a man crush on. I would love Joe Burrow, but again, you're going to trade it for a quarterback who's injury prone and making $60 million a year. You know, these guys. Well, I would assume. Like, do you think Tua will eventually just be cut? Like, who would? Unless you trade like a 4th or 5th round pick for him, like some team, you know, like who? Or Tyler Murray.
I sort of feel like Tua could be the next Baker Mayfield. In other words, he's still
getting the right system.
Yeah. I don't love Tua, but I like him.
Yeah, no, well, I think he has something there. I think in the right system he would do well. But like, it's funny. Like, you know, I'm reading online. Oh, the Raiders are going to hold on to Geno and to trade him. Are you kidding me? They're just like, oh, what are you going to get for Geno? An air pump to pump up the footballs? I mean, like or
an air pump to let the air out if you're the Patriots. Hey, listen, I got to run, but stay warm, my friend.
You too. See you later.
All right. That sounds like that Dos Equis commercial. Stay warm, my friend. Come on back on Sports Bio.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history. They're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money. And you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624. Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call, regardless of who booked your airline tickets. We'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
You think this is a humorous occasion? You are mistaken.
Come on, take the ride. There's a party on